You're listening to The Simplified CEO, the podcast that shows you business does not have to be complicated. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's show you how you can get success in every area of your life the simpler way.
Just before we jump into today's episode, I have to give today's sponsor a shout out. Now, you know, here on Simplified CEO, we are all about the simple life in business. And I know one of the main areas every entrepreneur wishes was simpler was the bookkeeping. Well, it can be with today's sponsor, Xero. This is an accounting software I have used for years, and honestly, it's made it so easy for me to keep a track of everything. It automates manual tasks, meaning I'm not losing hours to admin, and it can be done from anywhere using their fantastic mobile app. So if you're looking for a simpler way to keep on top of your bookkeeping, go and check out Xero today using the link in the show notes below for a special offer. Now let's get back to today's episode.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Simplified CEO, the podcast for established entrepreneurs who've built successful five-figure businesses but are ready to scale smarter, not harder. I'm your host, Claire Bartlett, and today I am pulling back the curtain on something I have never talked about publicly before. Earlier this year, I was an affiliate for one of the UK's most successful course launches. We're talking consistent seven-figure sales, household name in the business world, the works. And whilst it was an incredible learning experience, it was also a massive reality check about what scaling to seven figures actually looks like behind the scenes. Now, if you're listening to this thinking seven figures, what a dream, I want you to stick around because what I'm about to share might surprise you. And if you're someone who's been romanticizing these massive launches from the outside, wondering why you're not there yet, this episode is definitely for you. We see the end results, right? The celebration posts, the income shots. But what we don't see is the 4 a.m. panic calls when the website crashes or the affiliate arguments happening in private Facebook groups. So today I'm sharing 4 key lessons I learned from being on the inside of a seven-figure launch, and more importantly, how you can apply these lessons to your business right now to feel calmer, more in control, and ultimately more successful without the chaos. Right, let's start with something that will either make you laugh or cry, depending on where you are in your business journey. The tech will always let you down at the worst possible moment. During this launch, the website crashed twice, not once, twice, and on key sales days when thousands of people were trying to access the sales page. The affiliate tracking system went completely haywire, meaning some of us weren't getting credit for the sales that we'd genuinely made. And at one point, the main sales page just literally vanished into the digital ether for hours. Now, if you're thinking surely with a seven-figure budget, they'd have better systems. Well, even at this level, technology has a mind of its own. But here's what fascinated me. The course creator didn't panic. And whilst the rest of us were frantically messaging in the affiliate group asking, is it just me or is nothing working? They calmly sent out updates, they had backup plans ready, and they kept the energy positive. This taught me something crucial about scaling. The difference between a five-figure and seven-figure business owner isn't that they have fewer problems, it's how they respond to them. And now I know many of you listening might recognize this pattern. When Stripe has a hiccup and payments aren't processing, you find yourself refreshing the dashboard every 5 minutes instead of just sending a simple message to the affected client. Your email platform goes down for maintenance, that familiar panic sets in about your launch sequence being delayed, and suddenly your entire day feels derailed. Watching how this seven-figure business handled these inevitable hiccups taught me that there is a better way. So here's what I want you to implement starting today. I want you to create what I've called the chaos protocol. I want you to have backup communication methods ready. If your main email platform fails, do you have a simple backup way to reach your audience? Do you have your email list downloaded safely off that platform? Can you contact them with your personal email? Can you send them Instagram messages? You need to find a way of being able to own that data. And for payment problems, do you have a manual backup process? Can they pay you via bank transfer or PayPal? And for client emergencies, you've got to have boundaries in place. What constitutes a real emergency versus something that feels urgent but can wait until tomorrow? I now have a simple rule. If it's not going to impact someone's safety or cost them significant money, it can wait until my business hours. But most importantly, build buffer time into everything. This was perhaps the biggest revelation from watching this launch. They had built-in cushions everywhere. Email sequences had extra days built in. Content was created weeks ahead of when it was needed. Even their daily schedules had gaps for the unexpected. And if you're someone who schedules back to back client calls with no breathing room, or you're always running so close to deadlines that one small hiccup derails everything, you're operating in crisis mode constantly. And that's absolutely exhausting. So here's what buffer time actually looks like in practice. If you need to send a proposal by, say, Friday, aim to have it completely done by the Wednesday. If you're launching something next month, make sure you've got all of your content ready the month before. If you usually need 2 hours to create your weekly content, block out 3. And I know what you're thinking, but I don't have extra time to spare. But here's the thing, you're already spending that time. You're just spending it on stress and rework and putting out fires. When you build buffers in proactively, you're trading stress time for peace of mind time. One practical way to start, look at your calendar for next week and identify where you've scheduled things too tightly. Maybe you've got a client call ending at 2 and another one starting at 2. Or you've planned to write your weekly newsletter on the same day that you need to send it. Build in those gaps. Even like 10, 15 minutes between calls makes a massive difference to your stress levels. The goal isn't to prevent problems, it's to reduce the drama around them. When you have protocols in place, you can handle issues calmly and get back to building your business instead of constantly firefighting. And then the next thing was perhaps the biggest eye opener for me. The level of planning that went into this launch was phenomenal. We are talking military precision here. Every piece of marketing copy was written and scheduled months in advance. There were detailed timelines for every team member, backup plans for the backup plans, and contingencies that I hadn't even thought of. The main launch calendar honestly looked like something NASA would use to plan a space mission. And as affiliates, we received our promotional material weeks before the launch. And not just like the basics, we're talking email sequences, social media graphics, suggested posting schedules, even templates for Instagram stories. Everything was thought through to the nth degree. And you know what? It showed. Despite all of the technical hiccups I mentioned, the launch ran smoothly because everybody knew exactly what they were doing and when. And here's what I discovered watching this level of planning in action. Most of the daily stress that we experience as entrepreneurs isn't because you have too much to do. It's because you never quite know what you're supposed to be doing when. If you're someone who often finds yourself staring at your to do list, feeling completely overwhelmed, or you're constantly switching between tasks because you're not sure what to prioritize, or you're creating content on the morning you need to post it, this lesson is going to change everything for you. So, let me share exactly how you can start planning better in your business starting this week to feel that same sense of calm and control. First, do what I call a brain dump audit. Set aside 2 hours, yes, 2 full hours, and write down everything you currently do in your business, every single task, from checking your emails to creating your content to your client delivery. Don't organize it yet, just get it all out of your head. Next, categorize those tasks into 4 buckets: daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. Daily might be checking your emails or responding to DMs. Weekly is your content creation and your client check-ins. Monthly might be, your financial reviews and your marketing planning. And quarterly could be strategy reviews and goal setting. And now here is the game changer. Assign specific days and times to these categories. For instance, do all of your content creation on a Monday, or your client work Tuesday to Thursday, all of your admin on Friday. This means you're never wondering, what should I be working on right now? You've just got to look at your calendar and know. And I know that I've spoken many times before about your energy levels. This is a a plan to deviate from. It's just a system that you can use. And if you are, energy low one day and you normally be doing your content, you can switch it in your diary. This isn't like rigid, locked in forever, but it's just a guideline to help you start having that organization in your mind and in your workday. And for content specifically, which I know is a massive source of stress for many of you, try what I call the batch and bank. Once a month, sit down and plan the next month's content topics entirely. Write out your email newsletters in batches of 4. Create your social media content for the week in one focus session rather than scrambling every morning. The goal is to move from reactive to proactive. Instead of waking up and thinking, God, what fires do I need to put out today? You wake up knowing exactly what you're working on and when. And if you're someone who often feels like you're constantly in firefighting mode, wondering where your day went, this system will give you back that sense of control. Start small. Just plan next week properly. Write it down, what you're doing each day, and then stick to it. You'll be amazed at how much calmer you feel when you're not constantly making decisions about what to do next. This next one is where things got uncomfortable for me. And it's something I think we need to talk about more in the business world. The affiliate bonuses for this launch were insane. We're talking luxury holidays, cash prizes, high end coaching packages, like amazing prizes that would genuinely change someone's business trajectory. But watching what some people were willing to do to win those prizes was eye opening to say the best, and not in a good way. I witnessed affiliates sliding into DMs of people who'd already purchased through someone else, trying to convince them to cancel and repurchase through their link instead. People were making promises that they couldn't keep, sharing income claims that were wildly unrealistic, and some were promoting tactics they clearly didn't even believe in themselves. There were so many instances where someone shared in a group that they'd finally taken the plunge and invested in the course, and within hours their DMs were flooded with affiliates trying to get them to switch links. That person went from excited about their investment to confused and overwhelmed about whether they'd made the right choice. I mean, now, I want to be clear the course creator handled this really professionally when it was brought to their attention, but it showed me something important about what happens when the stakes get high. I realized that I was starting to spend more time watching the drama unfold and what other affiliates were doing, worrying about the league table, and second guessing my own authentic approach than I was focusing on genuinely helping my audience. So I made the decision. I stepped back from the competition element and just focused on my own lane. I promoted the course because I genuinely believed in it. I'd used it in my own business and I shared honest reviews and I stuck to my values, even if it meant that I wasn't going to win those top prizes. And this taught me that success isn't worth compromising your integrity for. And if you're building a business that requires you to act against your values to hit your income goals, you're building the wrong business. But here's where it gets tricky in real life because sometimes you don't realize something conflicts with your values until you're already in the middle of it. Maybe you've agreed to a collaboration that seemed perfect on paper, but then they start asking you to promote something that you don't actually believe in. Or perhaps you've taken on a client who initially seemed lovely, but their expectations or behavior starts making you feel uncomfortable. So, how do you know when something crosses the line? Well, I've developed what I call the sleep test. It's very simple. If thinking about this decision, that collaboration, or that client keeps you awake at night with like a knot in your stomach, then that's your answer. Your gut knows before your head does. And here are some practical red flags to watch for. If you are being asked to make claims that you cannot personally stand behind, or you're feeling pressured to work in ways that don't feel authentic to you, or you start dreading the work itself rather than just being busy? Do you find yourself making excuses for behavior you wouldn't accept from anyone else in your life? Then, if you recognize that something isn't aligned, you have one of these red flags, you have options. You don't have to dramatically burn bridges or create unnecessary conflict. For collaborations that have gone off track, you just have an honest conversation. I've realized that this approach doesn't align with how I like to work with my audience. Can we adjust the strategy, or would it be better if I step back from this particular campaign? And for clients whose expectations have shifted into like uncomfortable territory, just say, I want to make sure that I am delivering the best possible service to you. And maybe what you're looking for might be better served by someone who specializes in that approach. The key is addressing it early rather than hoping it will get better. Because in my experience, when something feels wrong at the beginning, it rarely improves without direct action. And remember, saying no to something that doesn't align with your values isn't just about protecting your integrity. It's about creating space for opportunities that do align. Because every time you stay in something that feels wrong, you're potentially missing out on something that feels right. And finally, it is bloody hard work. Let me paint you a picture of what being part of a 7-figure launch actually looks like day to day. Now, keep in mind, I was only the affiliate. I wasn't even the actual business owner. And yet I was still creating content constantly: emails, social posts, Instagram stories, videos. My phone never stopped buzzing with notifications from the affiliate group or customer questions and launch updates. It was all consuming. And I was mentally on from the moment I woke up until I fell into bed exhausted. And then there's the online backlash that comes with any successful launch. The trolls who come out to criticize everything from the pricing to the promises to the people promoting it. And while this didn't impact me directly, thank goodness, it was shocking how jealousy shows up for other people's success. And this experience made me really examine what success actually means to me. Is it about hitting 7 figures at any cost, or is it about building a sustainable business that gives me the lifestyle that I actually want? Now, if you've been in my world for a while, now I am all about the simple success in business. I mean, the clue is in the podcast name, right? But for some people, those intense launch periods are really energizing. They thrive on the adrenaline and the focus, and that's great. But for others like me, it highlighted that there are other ways to build a successful business without sacrificing everything else. The question I suppose you need to ask yourself is, what are you willing to sacrifice to scale? Because they're always trade offs. The key is making sure that they're trade offs that you are comfortable with. So, what are the key takeaways that you can implement in your business this week? Well, first is create that chaos protocol. Spend that 30 minutes this week identifying the 3 most common things that go wrong in your business and create simple backup plans for each. Stop letting those minor hiccups derail your entire day. Next, start planning in batches. Pick 3 areas of your business, maybe it's content or client communication, and plan it a month in advance. Notice how much mental space this frees up for the important work. Then do a values check. Write down your top 3 business values and honestly assess whether your current strategies align with them. If they don't, it's time to adjust the course. And finally, get clear on your definition of success. Is it about the income numbers, the lifestyle, the impact, or all 3? Make sure that you are building towards what you actually want. This is so personal, not what you think you should want. And the beautiful thing about these lessons is that they don't require you to have a 7-figure business to implement them. They work whether you are at 5K months or 50K months. They're about building sustainable foundations that will serve you at any level. And now I don't want you to just listen to this episode and think, oh, that's nice. What a lovely insight. I want you to take action. So here are 3 specific things you can do this week. Now, first, obviously, it's create that chaos protocol. Get that 30 minutes and write down those 3 things that most commonly go wrong. Write a 1 sentence plan for how you can handle them. Also, make sure that you have your client data in a place off your system so you can get it at any point. Second, do that brain dump audit. Block out those 2 hours this weekend and get everything out of your head and onto paper. Then spend another hour organizing it into those daily, weekly, monthly buckets. You will be amazed at how much clearer everything becomes. And then finally, plan just 1 week ahead properly. Don't try to plan the next 3 months because that's overwhelming. Just plan next week. Write down what you're doing each day and then stick to it. And notice how much more in control you feel. These aren't huge changes, but these are the foundation of everything bigger you want to build. Because here's what that 7-figure launch really taught me: success isn't about working harder or having better systems than everyone else. It's about being intentional with your time and your energy and your choices. That's what being a simplified CEO is all about. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this resonated with you, as always, I would love to hear. Please send me a DM on Instagram. But until next time, just keep simplifying your success.
I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you are ready to make your life simpler, then don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Xero, the accounting software that is ready to supercharge your business by automating routine tasks, giving you quick access to your financial data, and helping you get paid up to twice as fast using their online invoice payments. So if you are ready for a simpler way to keep on top of your bookkeeping, go check out Xero today. Get their special offer using the link in the show notes below.